Welcome to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo with the September 25th, 2024 241st edition. Colleen Daniels, she's out there in Studio West. We are here with the About Mansfield news team. Coming up today, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield trivia question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week. Police chase ends in suicide.
Mansfield PD arrest suspect in teen shooting.
A tip of the hat to Meals on Wheels in a moment with the mayor.
Proposed wastewater treatment plant draws community concern.
Business Alliance creates a new program for young professionals.
How did the Trinity Metro program fare during its trial run in Mansfield? We have an update.
And in sports, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all there. It's a recap of Friday Night Lights and what's on tap for this weekend.
And in the Talk segment, Steve talks in studio with Fleetwood project founder Stevie Don Carter. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Navigating the ever-changing real estate market can be exhausting. At the Hornburg Real Estate Group at One West, our team of experts help make the most of your home selling goals. From the ability to bring buyers multiple cash offers, offer different ways to sell your home, and even offer pay-at-close vendors, we help you get top dollar. We have a robust marketing strategy to ensure you always have options to get your home sold in the way that makes the most sense for you. Each agent at the Hornburg Real Estate Group has been expertly trained and has years of experience behind them. Find out why our clients consistently rate us 5 stars year after year. Call or text us at 817-264-7087. Again, that's 817-264-7087. Or visit us online at homesbyhrg.com.
This is Paul Duncan with Trinity Solar Services. That's right, solar. Back in the 1960s, NASA used solar cells in their space missions. But get this, the very first solar cells were actually invented back in 1883. Solar energy has made great strides over the past 140 years, but one theme remains constant: solar works. Solar panels are the MVPs of renewable energy. While reducing carbon emissions and taking a stand against climate change, solar panels can also help to greatly reduce your electric bill. Trinity Solar Services is your sun-powered solutions, and we want to deck out your home with top-notch Tier 1 panels without breaking the bank. Reach out to us today for a complimentary quote. Trinity Solar Services is a Mansfield-based company that's all about building relationships through good old-fashioned, family-owned business values. Find us online at trinitysolarservices.com. That's trinitysolarservices.com.
Hi, I'm Olympia Longjumper, Jacob Fincham-Dukes, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center right here in Mansfield. Mansfield police responded to multiple reports of a wrong-way driver Monday afternoon in the 2200 block of FM 917. Officers arrived around 12:30 p.m. and attempted to stop the vehicle, which initially pulled over but quickly fled the scene. The driver, the only person in the vehicle, brandished a firearm, sparking a high-speed chase. During the pursuit, the suspect fired several shots at officers. Police returned fire but did not hit the suspect. The chase crossed into Johnson County and Burleson before returning to Mansfield, with speeds reportedly reaching up to 105 miles per hour. The pursuit came to an end in the westbound lanes of East Broad Street at the Highway 360 overpass, where the suspect rear-ended another vehicle. The collision immobilized the car, and the the suspect died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound while still inside the vehicle. No other injuries were reported, and the suspect was pronounced dead at the scene by Mansfield Fire and Rescue. The identity of the suspect will be released by the Tarrant County Medical Examiner after notifying next of kin. The Texas Rangers and the Mansfield Police Criminal Investigations Division are investigating the incident, with an internal administrative review also underway.
Mansfield police have arrested a suspect in the fatal shooting of a 17-year-old on Thursday. 21-year-old Elijah Hatton has been charged with murder in connection with the incident. Authorities responded to a wellness check at a home on Cutting Horse Drive Thursday afternoon. Upon arrival, they found the teen with a gunshot wound while bystanders were attempting CPR. The victim was transported to the hospital, but later died from his injuries. The suspect fled the scene before officers arrived. However, Mansfield detectives were able to identify his vehicle, which was later found at an apartment complex in East Dallas. Mansfield SWAT officers took Hatton into custody. At this time, police have not provided details regarding the motive or circumstances of the shooting. The name of the 17-year-old victim has not been released due to his age.
The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council, as we do every other Tuesday. Good morning, top of the morning, Mayor Michael Evans.
Good morning and top of the morning to you, sir. Good to be here today.
You, along with the rest of the City Council and City Council staff, you held a council meeting on Monday evening. You started off with recognitions, and a fine recognition.
Our team did recognize an awesome person. First, we honored Carla Judson, who has served for 50 years, Steve, as the Tarrant County Meals on Wheels organization. Let me tell you something. She is an outstanding person. As a matter of fact, most recently, she served as the president and the CEO, again, at the Tarrant County Meals on Wheels. And think about Meals on Wheels. They have delivered in her time over 30 million meals to those in need within Tarrant County. Now, you're talking about feeding the 5,000. This lady has participated in feeding 30 million meals. She is awesome.
50 years.
50 years. And we just wanted to congratulate her as she prepares to step away from the role after these 5 decades of service. But again, it's mind-boggling what Ms. Judson has done. And she's a hero in my book, buddy.
You also did another recognition.
We sure did.
Yes,
the second recognition was council. We recognized our municipal court staff. They work tirelessly to ensure the services of the court and make sure that they meet the public's expectations. And we thank each and every municipal staff member for their part in providing what we call noteworthy essential services. So, hats off to them.
Next on the bill was regarding roadways. And, when someone drops the price of something, it's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a good thing. So staff also, we gave an update on the current status of roadway impact fees. We reviewed them. And of course, this is an item that's going to come back to the City Council for formal action at a latter date. But it's good news for corporations, for restaurants and folks like that who would like to make Mansfield their home. We're doing the very best that we can to make Mansfield a destination for folks to come and to eat good food, corporate headquarters. So we're just trying to make that better and make ourselves more appealing so we can have those good jobs here in Mansfield, Texas.
Moving along, you had 8 consent agenda items, and you don't have to go through all 8 of them. As we say, let's hear about the sexy ones.
All right, let's see. Boy, okay, let me see this one. It's the storm drains. Okay, I don't know how sexy that is, but we'll talk about it though. But so these were environmental items. How about that? This included a storm drain improvements and chlorine dioxide to refine and remove impurities from our water system. We approved 2 items concerning our new multipurpose stadium. Now that's sexy. The multipurpose stadium located in the Harvest Point development. And of course, these are exciting exciting times for Mansfield. And let me tell you, Steve, I cannot wait for us to be able to, our team, to unveil this project for our community to enjoy the remarkable experiences that they're going to have without leaving the city limits. It's going to be great.
Let's talk about a zoning change over there on Holland Road.
Yeah, City Council voted to approve a zoning change from single-family residential to planned development district for commercial and single-family residential uses on about 10.5 acres located at 650 and 700 North Holland Road. And let me tell you, I appreciate that developer by listening to council and staff by helping to change this area to a mixed use, a local category. There will be greater walkability and more public gathering spaces for residents. And again, this is single family residences as opposed to all the other stuff that sometimes we see and people have a little heartburn about. So we're really happy that he made those changes, listened to the council, and the council, we listened to our constituents, and we had some good stuff done. And you know what? Speaking of some good things, we've got Haunt the Block that's coming up. So in regard to new business, we approved a community activation grant application that was made by the Mansfield Business Alliance just to make sure that the Haunt the Block, and you'll be hearing more about that later.
Sure.
So I don't want to bear the lead here. So give people a time, let them come and announce their program. But that's when we have hundreds of people downtown, and the little trick-or-treaters are going back and forth. So
not just hundreds, thousands.
You know what? Actually, we talked about a couple of thousand, to be honest with you. You're right. So, kudos and bravo to those businesses that are downtown. And this is an opportunity for them to open their doors, sell their wares, and everybody just have a great, safe night. So we appreciate our police, and all of them will be working together, partnering to make that a great experience.
Yeah, Haunt the Block. That's always a great annual event downtown. Anything else going on?
You know what? It's a whole lot going on, and it's all good, sir. It is all good, and I'll be able to give you more information. So guess what? Here's the tease.
Yeah.
Y'all stay tuned, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
That, my friends, is what's called A Moment with the Mayor. That is Mayor Michael Evans. And Michael, go forth. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And you too, sir. Go forth and prosper.
Mansfield residents squared off with a panel of representatives from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, Monday night in opposition to the construction of a proposed wastewater plant near Bennett Lawson Road and Gibson Cemetery Road. Jan Hurlbut lives close to the area. She said that the concern is not only over the waste treatment plant, but also the addition of 1,900 homes that would feed their gray water into the plant.
I don't know if everybody's aware of it, but it's a sewage plant that the developer's trying to put in to connect up to 1,900 multifamily units and single-family units on a 360-acre plot out in the middle of the countryside here, close to Mansfield city limits, and then put a sewage treatment plant and dump it into our creek, which goes into Walnut Creek, concerning the city of Mansfield, which came out against this also. And it turns out that David Cook is against this also.
Hurlbut said that State Representative David Cook was initially in favor of the project until the number of the housing units more than doubled.
The first concern by David Cook is that he said he was basically misled because he headed up the legislation and he was told there would be no more than about 900 homes. Now he sees in the permit that there's 1,900 homes. So that was one of the big things that changed his mind on this whole thing.
Ms. Hurlbut also said the evening was chock full of community comments, including from local professionals.
We had lawyers, we had doctors that were concerned. For example, one doctor got up and said, hormones like estrogen will not break down in a sewage plant. It'll get into the water, gets into the grass, gets into the dirt, it affects people and livestock and pets. And who knows what else.
This wastewater project was brought to About Mansfield's attention on Friday. Hurlbut stated that the problem with that is TCEQ's lack of transparency.
One of the other aspects that the group brought up, or individuals in the group, was that nobody knew anything about this, including myself. This is TCEQ is a huge bureaucracy in the state, and they used to put an ad in the paper like the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Well, nobody gets that anymore. And they're required to post it somewhere on these 360 acres and that nobody even lives on it. So nobody knew anything about this. And I've kind of been the town crier, along with some other people that have tried to alert everyone to the fact that this is going to be built this fall if we don't stop this permit. Kind of it in a nutshell.
Through Hurlbut's paraphrasing, Representative Cook told the TCEQ panel that the community is a well-oiled, organized machine.
This is the group, TCEQ, that fought you on your concrete batch plant. And he said, you're dealing with a bunch of people that are very motivated, and they know what they're doing, and they're going to fight this. And he goes, they were the only ones in the history of the state of Texas that won a denial by TCEQ of a permit for a concrete batch plant. So they were first in the state. And we're sitting there going, yeah, that's who we are.
If you missed Monday night's community forum but are interested in knowing more about the proposed treatment plant, Hurlbut has this advice.
Probably best would be to get a little bit more educated on it. They can look up on tceq.texas.gov, which is their website, and look up our wastewater treatment plant number. They can bring up some information on it. There's also an 80-plus page permit application on file if they go to the Mansfield Public Library, which is where I've gone to a couple times to read it, that will give you the specifics on this, what this developer is trying to do.
That website again is tceq.texas.gov, and the permit number is, well, it's a little long, so you better get a pencil, write this down, WQ001-641-1001. You can use the rewind button on your podcast player if you need to hear that permit number again. The Mansfield Business Alliance made an exciting announcement at the Young Professionals Mixer on Tuesday evening. With us here in the studio to tell us about it is the Business Alliance President, Winoka Lemons. Welcome to About Mansfield.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about this big announcement. Tell us about the program that the MBA has created.
So the MBA created a 40 Under 40 award for young professionals under 40 who live or work in Mansfield. These individuals are leaders, innovators, and change makers, playing a key role in shaping the future of our city.
The 40 in 40, so this is a list of 40 people under the age of 40.
Yes.
Are future leaders.
Yes.
What's the purpose of this program?
This is the community's chance to nominate a peer, a mentee, or a young leader in our community.
Who qualifies for consideration?
Individuals under 40 or who turn 40 this year, 2024, they are making significant contributions to the business and civic community in Mansfield. We want to highlight their achievements, inspire growth, collaboration, and a strong local community.
And there are several 40 under 40 programs around the Metroplex. I know Dallas has one, and Arlington has one, and now Mansfield is starting their own. What is the deadline to nominate a candidate? How can someone find out more information about Mansfield's 40 under 40?
Yes, we are so excited to launch 40 under 40 here in Mansfield. The nominations open October 1st at mansfield40.com. And if you go visit the site now, you can enter your email address to be contacted when the nomination form goes live. We will ask for examples of how the nominee is contributing to the growth and success of your company or organization, and then they will close December 1st. At this time, we're not allowing self-nominations, but a family member or boss, anyone in your community can nominate you.
Can I nominate a friend?
Yes.
So the nomination process, again, is October 1st through December 1st. The website is mansfield40.com. Anything else you want to add?
These 40 individuals will be celebrated at our awards gala Thursday, February 27th, 2025 at the Vault. And if you want more information about Mansfield Business Alliance, you can visit our website or our Facebook page where we'll keep everything up to date on there for you to find out more about 40 under 40 and MBA.
And that is MansfieldBusinessAlliance.org.
Yes.
Winoka, thanks for being on About Mansfield.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
You've seen the vans all around town. Trinity Metro's rideshare service here in Mansfield recently completed its 2-month trial with positive results. According to Ralph Zaragoza, Emergency Mobility Manager, ridership for the Trinity Metro on-demand service in Mansfield outperformed two similar areas in Fort Worth for the month of August. Zaragoza noted that typically rider growth takes time, but Mansfield saw an immediate increase in usage. Between the service's launch on July 15th and September 22nd, over 3,600 rides were provided here in Mansfield. The decision on whether to extend the service and potentially add more vehicles now rests in the hands of the City Council. Trinity Metro simplified its fare structure on September 15th, making rides $2 each or $4 for a day pass. Available with valid ID are reduced fares at half price. That's available for seniors 65 plus, individuals with disabilities, Medicare card holders, youths ages 5 to 19, and veterans with proof of status. One Mansfield ISD football team remains undefeated. We'll talk about it because sports is next.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this. An enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
I'm Philip Washington, Chief Investment Officer of Stonehill Wealth Management and host of the Wealth Building Made Simple podcast. First book I read in college was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. And since then, I've read tons and tons of books on money, and what I've done is taken those lessons, simplified them, and I talk about those lessons on my podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple. So come hang out with us. We're on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube, Wealth Building Made Simple.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, you know, they say one is the loneliest number, but not for your Mansfield Tigers, who remain Mansfield ISD's only undefeated football team as the Tigers took down Waco Midway 29-15 on senior night at R.L. Anderson on Thursday night. In the win column, also, Summit crushed Burleson 35-10 Friday night in front of their homecoming crowd at Newsom Stadium. In other action, both Lake Ridge and Timberview dropped to 1-3 after their losses, while Legacy is still on the hunt for its first win of the season. Looking ahead, there's only one home game this week. That would be Timberview as they host Everman at Newsom on Friday for the Wolves homecoming game. On the road, Legacy faces North Crowley. Summit heads to Grapevine, and your Mansfield Tigers travel to Fort Worth Boswell. Lake Ridge has a bye week. All games kick off at 7 p.m. Taking a look at the highs and lows from around the state. The highest scoring game, Wanda R. Smith High School, right down the road in Keene, topped Stephenville Faith Homeschool, 86-45. The lowest scoring game in the state, Harlingen nipped Laredo United South, 6-5. And the biggest goose egg in the state goes to Pflugerville, routed Austin Navarro 78-0. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, the good, the bad, the ugly, doesn't matter. You can call us and leave a voicemail at 817-435-2938. Think of it as your letter to the editor. That voicemail again, 817-435-2938. This coming Saturday, September 28th, is National Neighbor Day. You want to be the favorite person on your block? National Neighbor Day celebrates the importance of being a good neighbor while contributing to one's community and to each other. Relationships with neighbors can often lead to close friendships. That's why National Neighbor Day promotes good relationships between neighbors. As Mr. Rogers once said, "Please, won't you be my neighbor?" It was back in 1947 that the first subdivision was built, more than 2,000 homes in Levittown, New York, and that's when Americans learned how it's important to get along. A few ways to be active in your neighborhood. How about host an event? Invite your neighbors over. Get involved with your neighborhood. 3 ways that you can be the favorite neighbor. Organize a meet and greet. Mow your neighbor's lawn, or just be aware without being nosy. Aside from family and friends, relationships with neighbors are the closest ones we have. National Neighbor Day teaches young generations the importance of being a good neighbor and contributing to the community. Personally, living in a small cul-de-sac like we do, it affords us the opportunity to become friends with a small group of neighbors, resulting in multiple brunches or dinner and a quaint in-home wedding. You know who you are.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
Tourism manager Tim Roberts joins us with the cultural arts calendar for October. Angel Biasatti is also here. She'll talk about the Level 2 Trauma Center in Methodist Mansfield. News to know.
What's happening in the Mansfield housing market? I'm Angela Hornburg, and we'll talk about it in the Mansfield Real Estate Update.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, picture a drink that's as bubbly as a flapper's personality and as golden as a bootlegger's wildest dream.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
Congratulations to Suzanne Gravois, who knew that Troy Dorsey is the only person in history to simultaneously hold titles in world boxing, karate, and kickboxing. When we come back, this week's trivia question. This is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right here, right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Colleen, it's your turn.
Well, Steve, the Mansfield Historical Museum, located at the corner of Main and Broad in historic Mansfield, hosts thousands of visitors each year with displays that date back as far as the 1800s. This week's trivia question is, what year did the Mansfield Historical Museum open? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, in what year did the Mansfield Historical Museum open? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Scott Farrell, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section.
As we head toward the end of the month, it is time for the Cultural Arts Calendar. We bring in the City Tourism Manager, Tim Roberts, back to About Mansfield. Welcome.
It's great to be back. Great to be on the precipice of fall.
Yes.
And we got some amazing fall things coming up.
Let's check the calendar for October. First off, starts the first and the second week of October.
The Fleetwood Project presents The Big White Lie, October 4th through 13th at the Far Best Theater. It's an all-original show, and Stevie Dawn's going to be on with you in just a few minutes to break it all down, so I'm not going to steal any of her thunder.
Right. In about 10 minutes, the executive director for the Fleetwood Project is going to be right here on the podcast, and she will tell you all about The Big White Lie. The first week, we got, oh my gosh, Founders Day's coming up.
That's a fun one. October 5th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. out at the Mann House. It's just taking a step back into the 1800s, all the great historical demonstration, hands-on activities. The museum does a great job. If you've never been out to the Mann House Museum, this is a perfect time to do it. So far, I don't want to jinx it, but the weather's been amazing every year, so come out and enjoy a great hometown festival on October 5th.
It was Founders Day a couple of years ago. I first saw a musician play the hurdy-gurdy. It is a wonderful instrument. October 10th, love it.
Everybody's favorite open mic night, 7:30 p.m. It just keeps growing, keeps having a lot more excitement out there. Come check it out at the Far Best, October 10th.
And then you've got a couple of haunting type events coming up.
Yeah, then we flip into true Halloween mode. October 17th, historic downtown is going to be absolutely spectacular. We have Haunt the Block, all sorts of amazing partners from across the city. You're going to have trick-or-treating, have hands-on art displays, photo opportunities, a scavenger hunt along the Pond Branch linear trail behind downtown. And at the same time, in the Far Best Theater, Mariposas de Mansfield is going to have their Grand Festival de Dia de los Muertos. So all sorts of amazing...
Say that again.
The Grand Festival de Dia de los Muertos.
There you go.
Got to put that bit of a roll on it if I can pull it off. So an amazing cultural event as well. It's all downtown, October 17th from 5 to 8 p.m., all free. It's such an amazing event. We can't wait to see everybody out at it.
Ghost hunts. And I say that plural because you got a couple of ghost hunts coming up.
We have back-to-back weekends. Secretly, this is my favorite event of the year. We are at the Mann House, October 18th and 19th, and then the next weekend, we're at the Far Best Theater, October 25th and 26th. They run 9 p.m. to midnight. We have all the lights off. We've got gear there for you. We walk you through a full paranormal investigation of both these spots. I've been to both these spots a number of times. We've made some documentaries about them that have actually picked up some pretty big awards. And let me tell you, some of the craziest experiences of my life had happened at these two locations. So tickets are very limited. So we've already sold a good number of them. So if you're hearing this and you want to be part of either of those ghost hunts, Mann House on the 18th and 19th, Far Best on the 25th and 26th, get them now. You can get all the information at hauntedmansfieldtexas.com. So go there, get those tickets. We'll walk you through. You'll have a good time. Nothing bad's happened yet. So
Yet. Okay.
But I'm sure you'll leave with a story.
Hauntedmansfield.com. Well, moving along now, my friend Lynn is going to take care of something at Sunshine Yoga.
Yes, at the Far Best Theater, October 19th at 7 p.m., they have their aerial showcase. So it's all the amazing aerial acrobatics that they pull just on that single strand of rope that they're able to spin around on. That's always an amazing event.
Let's talk about the, the farmers market.
Yeah, they are obviously every single Saturday at 703 East Broad Street, but their big event this month is their fall festival. So their hours are a little bit longer, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Exactly what you want from a fall festival. Candy, bobbing for apples, music, games. So come on out every single Saturday, but especially mark your calendars for that last Saturday in October, October 26th.
And to wrap up the month, Magic and Mayhem.
Yeah, Will Baffle, and this is, I'm proud to say, a more adult-only show. So Will Baffle usually comes out with the family-friendly stuff, but he is going to turn the Far Best Theater into an absolute haunted playground that night for haunted havoc, magic, and mayhem, all sorts of surprises. That's October 27th at 7 p.m. He's a great, fun magician. We'll be featuring him on the Mansfield Commission for the Arts page on October 1st to learn more about him. But it's going to be a fun 16 and up night. So the kids, they have their trick-or-treating fun earlier in the month, but leave them at home for this one.
Give the website again for all of the Halloween events.
All the Halloween events can be found at hauntedmansfieldtexas.com, and that goes even beyond what we've listed here to a lot more community partners and things going on in the city.
And we would be remiss if we didn't mention one thing that's happening early in November.
Yeah, let's go ahead and touch base on this one. The Mansfield Veterans Day Parade is November 9th at 10 a.m. A new route this year coming down Broad Street right in front of City Hall, 1200 East Broad Street there. So I'll mention that again next month. Put that little tickle in your ear and save your date for Saturday, November 9th for the Veterans Day Parade.
That is tourism manager Tim Roberts. That is the Mansfield Cultural Arts Calendar. We do this once a month. Tim, we'll see you next month.
Yeah, see you next month, and maybe we'll have some good ghost stories to tell you then, too.
Love it.
Angel Biasatti is here to talk about the Level 2 Trauma Center in Methodist Mansfield. News to know. Angel?
Today we have a special guest, Dr. Al, a trauma surgeon on staff at Methodist Mansfield Medical Center. We're thrilled to have him talk about our exciting launch of Level 2 Trauma here at Methodist Mansfield. Welcome, Dr. Al.
Good to be here. Imagine this. A serious accident happens just down the road. In situations like these, minutes matter. That's why I'm thrilled to share that Methodist Mansfield Medical Center is now launching full-service Level 2 trauma care, ready to provide life-saving care when it's needed most. As of September 10th, 2024, Methodist Mansfield will be fully equipped to handle critical injuries right here at home. This means that myself and other trauma surgeons will be available 24/7, ready to act immediately when emergencies strike. For major car accidents to severe falls, we can now treat a wide range of traumatic injuries without the need to transfer patients out of our community.
What does Level 2 trauma care mean for our community, Dr. Al?
In short, it means that Methodist Mansfield Medical Center now has expanded our capabilities to include everything from advanced imaging and emergency surgery to intensive care and rehabilitation, all under one roof. This upgrade in service is a game changer for our community. It means faster care, closer to home. While certain specialized cases like severe burns or organ transplants will still need to go to other facilities, we can handle nearly everything else right here in Mansfield. It's about peace of mind knowing that world-class trauma care is just minutes away. And let's not forget our incredible first responders. Our local EMS teams are the first ones on the scene, providing critical care in those early moments. With advanced trauma care, we're strengthening our partnership with EMS to ensure that patients get the fastest and best possible care from the moment an emergency call is made.
Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Al. At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we're committed to serving our community with the highest standards of care. The launch of Advanced Trauma Center is just one more way we're doing that. Stay safe, take care of each other, and know that if the worst happens, we're here for you. And to our listeners, remember, in an emergency, every second counts, and we're here to make sure those seconds save lives. That's Methodist Mansfield News to Know. I'm Angel Biasatti reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Angela Hornburg is here to keep us up to date in the Mansfield market with the Mansfield Real Estate Update. Angela?
Last month, we saw the average home price on existing homes in Mansfield dip down to $459,000. It hasn't been this low since June of 2023. What caused that? Traditionally, we see a dip in sales prices in August and/or September due to more motivated sellers being willing to sell after not selling during the summer season. This year, that trend has repeated itself. We continue to have a lot of options on the market that we call inventory. In Mansfield, we had 4.2 months of inventory on hand when it comes to existing homes. That's right under the Metroplex, which collectively has 4.8 months of inventory on hand. When we have a lot of options, that causes sellers to compete with their price and condition, which tends to level or suppress sales prices. So what does that mean for home sellers? It means you have to put your best foot forward with price and condition to help woo the buyers. What does this mean for buyers? This means that sellers are generally more agreeable now than they have been, and that they're willing to make effort to create a win-win agreement. With rates hovering in the mid to high fives, homebuyers are enjoying savings of hundreds of dollars per month off of their previous approvals at 6 to 7%. Rate buydowns and concessions are still happening as well, so it's safe to say that we are experiencing a very balanced market in the existing home market. New construction pricing was up slightly to $636,000, with builders offering incentives through design center choices, permanently low and fixed rates, as well as dropping their prices to offer more square footage to buyers. Builders maintained 5.3 months of inventory in the Mansfield market, which is well above the 4.3 months that the Dallas market collectively held for new construction. What does this mean for buyers? That means there are deals to be had in the new construction market. If you're contemplating selling to buy a new home, this is a prime time. A skilled agent can help negotiate rates, upgrades, extras, and more, so remember to reach out to your local real estate expert before making any moves in the market. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, this is Angela Hornburg, broker with One West Real Estate.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a drink as bubbly as a flapper's personality in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
This week's cocktail of the week is the Seelbach. As we finish this last week of September, Bourbon Heritage Month, we're going to raise a glass to a cocktail that embodies the glamour, the mystery, and the rich history of America's native spirit, the Seelbach. This effervescent concoction not only showcases bourbon's versatility, but also tells a tale as intoxicating as the drink itself. The Seelbach cocktail is named after the luxurious Seelbach Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, which opened its doors in 1905. Legend has it that the drink was created by the hotel bartender in 1917, just before Prohibition. However, in a twist worthy of a jazz-age novel, it was revealed in 2012 that the cocktail is actually a modern creation. Adam Seeger, the bartender at the Seelbach in 1995, admitted to invented both the drink and its backstory. He crafted the tale to give the cocktail a sense of history and mystique, successfully fooling cocktail historians and enthusiasts for years. This revelation, far from diminishing the Seelbach's appeal, but only adds to the fascinating narrative. Why is it perfect for Bourbon Heritage Month? Well, Kentucky roots. Named for historic Kentucky hotel, celebrated in bourbon's heartland. Luxury and glamour. It embodies the opulent spirit of bourbon's golden age. Versatility. It demonstrates bourbon's ability to shine in unexpected combinations. Conversation starter with its fabricated history, sparks discussions about bourbon lore and legend, and the celebratory nature. The champagne component makes it the perfect for toasting Bourbon Heritage Month. But don't worry about taking notes. As I'm giving out the ingredients and instructions, they're always posted on bourbongospel.com. So what do you need to make the historic, or maybe not so much, Seelbach? You need 1 ounce of bourbon. You need a ½ ounce of Cointreau. You need 7 dashes of Angostura bitters. You need 7 dashes of Pachon bitters. You need 4 to 5 ounces of chilled champagne or sparkling wine. To make the cocktail, fill a mixing glass with ice. Add the bourbon, the Cointreau, the Angostura bitters, the Pachon bitters to the mixing glass, and then stir gently for about 30 seconds to chill and combine the ingredients. Then strain the mixture into a chilled champagne flute, and then topped with a chilled champagne or sparkling white wine. Garnish with an orange twist, expressing the oils over the drink before dropping it in. The Seelbach is a testament to bourbon's enduring allure and adaptability. The bourbon provides the robust foundation, its caramel and vanilla notes complementing the orange flavors of the Cointreau. The generous doses of bitters, my love, adds depth and complexity, while the champagne brings effervescence and a touch of luxury. This cocktail perfectly encapsulates the spirit of Bourbon Heritage Month. It honors the traditional use of bourbon while adding a modern, sophisticated twist. The Seelbach reminds us that bourbon isn't just a spirit, it's a muse that continues to inspire creativity and storytelling. So this month, raise your flute to the Seelbach. After all, in the world of bourbon, sometimes the best stories are the ones we create ourselves, just like this captivating cocktail. As always, I'm hoping to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I just checked my ID. I'm Brian Certain, and you're still not.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio conversation with Fleetwood project founder Stevie Don Carter.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, this is Mansfield Chamber of Commerce CEO Lori Williams, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today, the multifaceted Dr. Stevie Don Carter. Welcome to About Mansfield.
Well, thank you for having me. Multifaceted is a great word. I like that. Thank you.
You wear many hats.
I do. I wear way too many for a face that really doesn't go with hats, but we're on a podcast, so nobody will know.
You've been on my radar for a couple of years because of your work through the Fleetwood project and the fact that I see you frequently on Facebook, and it's like, I got to have her into the studio. And it was through the suggestion of a mutual friend of ours,
Yes.
Another doctor who
Yes.
who said, hey, let me put these two people together and get her in the studio. And I said, absolutely. And that was only like 3 days ago. And
I know. We made this happen very quickly.
Yes, we did.
I appreciate that.
Stevie Don Carter, are you native Texan?
I am not. I've lived in Texas 3 times now throughout my life.
Yeah.
But now I'm here to stay. My whole family's here. My husband's here. His whole family. We're not going anywhere. So we're Mansfield for life at this point.
Where y'all from?
So I was born outside of Boston. I've lived all over the world. And I lived in Houston twice and then moved to Fort Worth in 2010. So been here 14 years now.
Have you brought any of the Boston or the Massachusetts culture to Mansfield? And if not, are you missing it?
I don't think so. I only lived there for 6 years, the first 6 years of my life. So I don't really think that it really stuck with me.
You're not pining for clam chowder?
No,
anywhere.
I do love my seafood, though, and it has to be authentic. So I do that. But really, it's the Chinese food.
Describe authentic seafood. What's the difference between what you get at the local fish place and authentic seafood?
Authentic. So for me, it's the cream sauces that are used, right? So in New England, we love a good cream sauce, and it has to be really creamy.
Well, and
it has to have all of that.
That's where the white, creamy clam chowder
comes from. So I look for that when I go out,
okay,
because I want that good. So when it's a little too see-through, I'm like, this ain't it.
Okay.
Nope, not the right thing.
It's got to have cream in it. Heavy cream.
Heavy cream.
And then you moved to Houston?
So I traveled all over. So when I was 13, I think, I ended up in Houston for a couple of years. And then
why would anyone go to Houston?
Yeah, well, at 13, I didn't really have an option.
Right.
So it was where mom and dad went, and I went with them. And I did that, following them all over the country until we moved internationally when I was 14. And then I separated from them and did my own little international tour for a little while.
Nice.
And then ended up back in the States. And my mom landed back in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I was there for a couple years and then kept moving.
Let's go back internationally. Where have you lived?
Yeah, so my mom got a job in Ireland. So I was in Dublin for 3 years. Then I went to Stuttgart, Germany for a few months. And then I ended up in Australia for 9 months.
Wow. What
which
part?
was my favorite. Just outside of Port Augusta, or just outside of Adelaide, called Port Augusta.
Okay.
So south Australia.
Right. South of Sydney.
Yes. South of everything.
South of everything. Just
South Central, all the way at the bottom.
just north of Tasmania.
Yes, indeed.
There you go. Australia is where I honeymooned.
Oh,
And
really?
yes. One of my favorite places in the world.
I love it. I actually, I have to admit, I was, you said we could share things
Absolutely.
on this podcast. I was deported from Australia. Yeah. So I went there as a 17-year-old and ran a business without a business license or visa. Apparently, you needed those things. I did not know that. Our business did well. I ran a dance studio. And our dancers ended up placing in some competitions, and we got a lot of news coverage, to which somebody figured out that I did not have any permits to be working. So then I was deported, and we had a whole little news coverage at the airport when I left. I think it said something like dreams of a dancer dashed or something like that. And I was not allowed to return for at least 7 years. And now if I do ever go back to Australia, I am not allowed to stay longer than 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yep. These are the rules.
Wow. Stevie Dawn is on the Australian radar.
I am, apparently. Being an entrepreneur was not a thing at that moment in time if you were not official.
A good friend of mine had moved to Canada to start a new relationship, and she thought that, I can just go to Canada and get a job. And they said, where? Oh, you're not a citizen of Canada. No, I'm not. You got to go back from where you came and for at least 1 year and file the proper paperwork. And she came back to the United States and maintained a long-distance relationship.
Good for her.
And now they've been married, 20 years or so.
Well, good for them. That's amazing.
Anyway, deported from Australia.
Hey, it's a thing.
That's a great story.
Feather in my cap.
Where, at what point in your life, what brought you to Mansfield, Texas?
A job. So I was working and living in Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, and a friend of mine transferred from Wichita, Kansas down to here and was working at Tarrant County College in Fort Worth. And so she said, hey, we have an opening. I think you'd be great for it. I know you were looking to get out of Kansas because really, who wants to stay in Kansas? Let's be real.
Just Dorothy.
Only. And I didn't have the right red slippers, apparently. So I wanted to get out of Kansas. She said, we have a job here. Would you like to come? And I came down. I interviewed. I got the job. And then I've been here ever since.
Were you a doctor by that point?
No, actually, I had just started my doctorate program the month I was hired.
Here in Mansfield? Okay. You got your doctorate from?
Colorado State University. Go Rams.
Okay. And they just played Colorado University this past weekend.
Big rivalry every year.
And something about the CU quarterback did not shake the hand of the CSU quarterback. And
as I said, big rivalry every year. And a lot of hurt feelings all the time.
Big controversy.
Yes.
Okay. Colorado State University. So you were living here in Mansfield.
And taking courses online. And so it took me 5 years to get through it. But it was a great program. And I got to spend my summers in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is a beautiful place to be in the summer.
Absolutely.
So the saddest part was I graduated in December. That wasn't a good time to be in Fort Collins, Colorado. We got iced in. But I was happy to have my degree, so it was all worth it.
Tell me about your degree. What's it in?
So I have a doctorate in leadership, and I studied emotional intelligence development.
Nice.
Yeah.
Prior to that, your master's, if I recall from your LinkedIn bio, sociology?
Yes, sir.
From?
Wichita State University in Kansas.
There's the Kansas degree.
Yes.
And then, so what are you doing with a doctorate in leadership? What does one, how do they put that to work?
Great question.
That's why I'm the host.
Yes. So for me, it became a tool. When I originally started, it was to work in higher education. I love community college. My heart is in community college students. And so I wanted to maybe be a vice president of a college or a president of a college even. And they were like, you need a degree to do that. You need a doctorate in something that would help you. And so leadership was what I chose. By the time I got done with my doctorate, though, 5 years in, I had already decided I did not want to do those jobs. I enjoyed teaching community college kids. I wasn't so sure about the administrative side. So I used my degree to start my own business, and I became a public speaker and a corporate trainer. I travel the country and talk about leadership and emotional intelligence.
What's the name of the company?
Empathics.
Empathics.
Yes.
Which means what?
So we focus on empathetic communication, and basically I put into Chat GPT, come up with business names around empathy, and Empathics was my favorite.
Isn't Chat just the greatest?
What would we do without it?
I'm trying to figure out what I did without it.
Right?
And
what did I do before?
You're traveling around. What do you talk about? I mean, obviously, leadership.
Right. So I focus specifically on communication. For me, it doesn't matter what we say. It really only matters what other people hear. So I'm always trying to help people understand how to make people listen. And we don't make people listen by getting aggressive or being angry or yelling. It's not how we get people to listen. We get people to listen by connecting with them, being empathetic, and giving them information with scaffold.
I hear what you're saying.
Thank you so much for that. That was a very empathetic response.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And traveling all over the country then.
Yes.
Which is, gosh, that's great. And so what are some of the problems that you're seeing within these corporations?
I think one of the number one problems that we're facing as a society is just the diversity in communication and the diversity in the workforce, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time in our livelihood as Americans that we've had 5 generations all working together. And that creates a lot of differences in communication and thought process and educational background and experience. And for them to all get on the same page takes a lot more effort and a lot more intention.
Hang on, let me process that. 5 generations.
5 generations.
5 generations.
In the workforce.
So my grandfather, my father, myself, my son, and his son could all be working in the same. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's throw a daughter in there somewhere.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So I can't grasp that because 2 of them have already passed away,
right,
and I do not have any grandchildren.
Right.
But I would assume when you say 5 generations working together, they're not all related.
Not all related, although in a family-run business, that could be the case.
Okay.
But no, just generational differences and age differences in the workforce are more than we've ever seen before.
That and cultural differences. Because,
absolutely.
Say someone from Boston coming to Texas to
yes.
work. And
as my neighbor who supports the Patriots, while as I support the Cowboys. This is a cultural difference.
Okay. All right. And then you've also got, you are the executive director of the Fleetwood Project.
Yes, that's my heart project.
That's your passion.
That is my passion. Yes. We're a community theater group. We're based out of right here in Mansfield, Texas, and we do all of our performances at the Far Best Theater downtown. And it's just really been, it's been a blessing to me. I created it to serve others, but I think for most of us, when we create something to serve others, it serves us at a much higher rate than we expected.
When did you create it?
We started it in 2021. We put on our first show in October of 2021.
So you were right smack dab in the middle of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
producing stage plays.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I needed something to do.
Okay. You could sourdough bread
Right,
was
I know.
real popular then.
Yeah, it was very popular. My father took that one on.
Okay.
No, for me, it was 2020 was really a wake-up call for myself just as an entrepreneur, how much time I was spending in my business and how I didn't really have a life outside of it. And in my business, where you travel all the time and talk to groups, what is one thing that could not happen in 2020 anywhere? So I was home a lot and reflecting a lot, which I think a lot of people did during that time, and said to myself, when the world opens up, I need to find a hobby. I need something that isn't work. But of course, entrepreneurial spirit kicks in and you say, yeah, but I could go join somebody else doing it, or I could do it myself and do it my way. And that's where it came from. So in 2021, I had the opportunity to work with a couple of great theater companies here as they were just getting back in after COVID. And I learned how amazing theater can be for people. Not that I didn't already know that a little bit for myself, but to see it up close and personal. And I said, I need more of this in my life. And I also realized that it can be a really harsh hobby. Going to auditions all the time and not getting cast, or people feeling like you're too old or you're too fat, or whatever those things are that means you don't get a part. And I said to myself, I want to create an environment that is more healthy and holistic in a mental health way for actors and actresses. Because I myself was going through all of that and saying, wow, this really is hard, and we don't really help people through it as much as we probably should. And so that's what I did.
Are you an actress?
I am. Yes, I am on our stage once a year.
Okay.
I try to get on stage once a year. I love it. But really my passion is in directing. That's my favorite thing to do.
And have you acted around Casa Manana or any other?
No, when I moved here in 2010, I wasn't even involved in community theater at all. The last time I did community theater was in college. I loved it in college. But then life, adulthood takes over. You stop some of the hobbies for work. And so it really is something I just got back into in 2020, 2021.
In 2021, you're producing shows at the Far Best Theater. 2021, again, in the middle of COVID, who's coming out? And were the audience members masked? And how was the turnout?
When we started in October, it was fine. We had an opening night of 79 people. Okay. People wore masks if they wanted to. It wasn't enforced at that point. In the beginning of 2021, with some of the other theater companies I worked with, there were a lot more regulations at that point. Yeah. Everybody had to be 6 feet apart. Everybody had to be masked. You could only have 35 people in the theater. It was a very different world. But by October, all of that had pretty much gone away. Far Best Theater, a note for our listeners, holds about 155 people. So 76, you're about half full. Which is not bad for... It was a great opening night for a first show. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. How many productions have you produced since October of 2021? Yeah, we actually just had this conversation at our board meeting. This will be our 14th show, the one we're currently doing. So we've done 14 shows in 3 years. Let's talk about the one that you are currently doing. It's coming up. It is coming up October 4th through the 13th at the Far Best. It's called The Big White Lie. And really, for me, this show, every year we produce at least one original work by a local Mansfield playwright. Huh. And that's something that's very important to us as an organization, but specifically our current board president is a playwright and an author and thinks this is the work that should be done. So we will be doing even more original works starting in 2025. But right now we've been doing one a year. And this year we're doing The Big White Lie, written by Ryan and Maggie Inlow, who are current Mansfield residents. And Ryan is the pastor at Pleasant Ridge Church of Christ. Nice. So pastor by day, playwright at night, I suppose.
Can you give a little synopsis without spilling the beans?
Yes, for sure. So as many of us know, there are two events that bring families together, weddings and funerals. This one takes place around a funeral.
Okay.
So we meet the White family on one of the hardest weekends of their life as they lay to rest their patriarch, Pop, who was really the glue that kept the family together, a big prankster as well. And what we see is the family coming together and reliving those memories, enjoying those moments as they try and celebrate his life. But then, as sometimes can happen when families get together, some secrets are revealed, and some little white lies maybe become a little bigger than they were intended. And now we're faced with, is the family going to make it through all this without being upset and leaving?
Oh my.
So it's a family show. It's a comedy. You will laugh really, really hard. You will also probably cry really hard in the show. It is heartwarming, and I think it reminds us the number one thing that we always say in Fleetwood is found family is thicker than blood.
Nice.
And this play very much speaks to the family that is by blood and then the found family that you get along the way. So
it starts October 4th, runs through October 13th.
Yes, sir.
At the Far Best Theater.
Yes.
At 126 North Main Street in downtown Mansfield.
Absolutely.
You might want to check that address.
I think it's 109, but it's okay. You would get there either way.
Oh, wait. 126 is the optometrist.
Well, good for them.
I was just there last week.
That's why it's in your head.
Okay. The Big White Lie at the Far Best Theater. And showtimes.
Yes. Fridays and Saturday nights at 7:30. And then Sunday the 13th is our one matinee, and we do that one at 2:30.
Okay. How can people buy tickets?
They can visit our website. That's the easiest way, fleetwoodproject.org, or they can stop by the box office. We always have seats available.
Fleetwood Project, it's a nonprofit organization.
Yes, 501c3.
And if I recall, the North Texas Day of Giving is coming up.
It is. North Texas Day of Giving is September 19th. That is this Thursday. And it's our first time to participate, so we're very excited. Got all our ducks in a row this time, I guess. And we are looking to reach a goal of $1,000. We're looking to add 2 more brand new microphones for our bigger shows that we're bringing out next year with a larger cast. And so we're looking for 2 new microphones. And so our goal is $1,000. And we have an anonymous donor who has agreed to match $500. So if we raise $500, we get our $1,000, which is what we're looking for. So please come support us or any of the nonprofits, because there's so many where they're nonprofits, for North Texas Day of Giving on September 19th.
We have the best listeners. And I know somebody out there right now, there is one person out there. There's at least one person out there who is capable of taking out their checkbook and writing a check for $500. Mm-hmm. We'll see if it happens.
I would love that. That would be amazing to us.
And through that, they could just go to your website.
Absolutely.
FleetwoodProject.org. And I would assume they would make it out to Fleetwood
Project. That's it. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, The Big White Lie, Far Best Theater, October 4th through the 13th. And go laugh, go cry. Stevie Don Carter. I'm glad our friend said, we ought to put these two together.
Me too. It's been fun. And I listen to your show all the time, and I was so thrilled to be a guest. And I told my mom, and she was so proud, like I was a superstar. So that was great.
You are now officially a superstar.
I love it.
Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
Thank you so much for having me.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, we will talk in studio with yet another fine Mansfield resident. You will just have to tune in to find out who it is. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, love, or support this podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never, ever, 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 ever send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update, Angela Hornburg. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is prohibited. We thank y'all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.